So the first question today, Venerable Dhammadipa, it's wonderful that you teach the theories and science of taming monkey mind. It will be extremely useful if you could also give us real-life examples of how your students apply your teachings to overcome meditation obstacles. Okay, so this is not it is not a question, it is just some suggestion. So we will find time to make some examples. During yoga practice, you mentioned pulling one's tongue up and back as if in meditation. Can you please explain how the tongue is pulled back in meditation? In meditation, the tongue is not pulled back, but the Adam's apple is pulled back. It will help you to straighten the back. So, not that you turn. There is a yoga practice of called Khechari Mudra. Those who have learned the yoga may know Khechari Mudra. In India, there are some yogis who cut here this part so as to succeed to put the tongue inside the throat. So they can prevent the breath coming in and out. Then they learn a certain type of, like I mentioned, the pilot Baba. If they succeed in that practice, based on the fourth jhana, they can make their body function stop for some time. Then they can learn to control the heartbeats also. So remember, no need to make any effort, put the tongue at the throat, just keep it naturally at the back, but it is very useful to pull this Adam's apple inside. It will help you to straighten the spine and get a very clear picture of the spine. Like this. In a natural way, the tongue goes back, but not you don't make any effort. It will naturally go up. It is clear that in order to meditate properly, we must breathe mindfully through our nose and breathe out mindfully through our nose. What is the purpose? What is a proper way to meditate if one has a stuffy nose? In the morning, a good suggestion is to do some pranayama, if one knows, for cleaning the nose. It is very efficient and one will not get a cold. Should I teach you some pranayama in the morning sometime? The basic practice for cleaning the nose is called Bhastrika and Kapalabhati. The Bhastrika, Kapalabhati is not difficult, it is easy to learn. It is just breathing in and breathing out very quickly. And the Kapalabhati is just breathing out. And then with one nose also, one nostril. So it will clean, but you have to do it carefully. Not. Then after that you do the Anapanasati, and the nostrils will be clean. Unless you have got cold already, then it is difficult. Huh? Count.
You already have a stuffy nose, then no matter how much you exhale, it's still blocked.
You should clean it. It's part of the yoga practice. They always clean the nose. They also have some gadget to put it through outside. And then you can pour water, warm water from one nostril, let it go out through here, and again. Now, one question to me, not do you believe in Pure Land Dharma? Of course, I believe in Pure Land Dharma. But Pure Land Dharma has to be studied with Samatha and Vipassana. That is very important. It is if it is just automatic chanting of the name Amitabha, it will not be very effective. I have seen in China many people chanting Amitabha, Amitabha, and then becoming very angry. More angry than anyone else. Do you have vowed to go to Buddha's Pure Land to further your cultivation? I don't know. The best is to the practice of the Dhammo is just don't know. The don't know and go right there. When you say God or gods, do you mean heavenly beings? Precisely that, yes. Or God of other religions. These are the Greek gods, or the Roman gods. And they also very similar. These gods, they are just superior kind of beings. And in the ancient times, the humans lived together with these beings. And even now in Burma, many people see these beings actually. It is not very unusual. But in our part of the world, the people have lost this kind of sensitivity because they become completely mechanical. And their minds are not sensitive. But those whose minds are very sensitive, they can actually see these beings. Now I will tell you some nice story. When I was in India, many years ago, before I started studying in India, so I used to wander there a little bit. being very impressed by the country and by the people, just fascinated by the country. So I happened to go to a place. At that time I did not know much about Buddhism, but I happened to go to Bodh Gaya, the place where the Buddha attained enlightenment. And there was, in Burmese temple, there was some Arahat from Burma, which someone who was believed to be an Arahat. He also came later to America. His name was Tumpolo Sayadaw. You may have heard about him. He was a very powerful meditator, no doubt. And so there was a discussion in the Burmese temple with the Tumpolo Sayadaw. They could ask him questions through the translator. And some American asked him, Tumpolo Sayadaw, if how about these heavenly beings, gods and so on, do they exist or not? And so the Tumpolo Sayadaw did not understand the question. He was very surprised. He's asking, what kind of question is that? Then the translator had to explain many, many times. Then he said, huh? Of course, don't you see this here? This place is full of this heavenly. So that the person very surprised. So these heavenly beings actually are with us, but we need certain sensitivity to see them. So in Buddhism, heavenly beings may not have the wisdom of selfless and thus have not become free or something like this from the cycle of reincarnation. You mentioned that we study Samatha and Vipassana to obtain divine mind, like the gods in heaven. It is not clear between it is not clear between the mind of Arahat and God. Please clarify. The gods in Christianity, even in the Western religion or Judaism or Islam, actually the many gods and one God is not any contradiction. They are many, many different kinds of gods, like angels. And these angels or gods, the ancient prophets, they could actually communicate with them and become very, even friends with them. In Buddhism, it is mentioned that in the early times, we human beings, we came from the heaven. Not from monkeys, but we came from the heaven. And in when we first appeared on this earth, so our body was luminous, and we did not need any food. Eventually, because of our greed, our bodies and food start deteriorating. This is common to all religions. It is explained by different stories and different legends, but the meaning is the same. So actually there are many divine beings. the many divine beings, they are just the state, the higher state of mind. If one believes in the theosophic vision of the world, that the world was created by the God. So the higher these like angels or divine beings, the closer they are to the God. So that is also in Jewish, Christian, Islam, mysticism, always they are like spheres of being which are closer and closer to the God. The meaning is very similar to Buddhism. What we experience depends on our mind, the purity of our mind. So the beings are innumerable, and the states of these beings is also innumerable. In India or in Burma, many beings, many people see actually these divinities living even in the trees. That's why they worship the trees. I think in Africa also, no, it's still very common. Because people have sensitivity, they live together with the nature. We in modern societies, we have lost the direct communication with the nature. But where the consume society has not made yet the havoc, this sensitivity is still there. In Burma, like, I can tell you again some nice story. When I was in Pa Auk, the Venerable Pa Auk Sayadaw decided, when he started becoming famous, he decided he wants to build a meditation hall so that many people can come to meditate. I was there at the time when he was not yet so famous and when Pa Auk was still a very little place. So when he decided to build a meditation hall, the monastery has hired a bulldozer, the big thing, to clear the land. So the guy who came with the bulldozer, he was working on the land, removing the land, and with that removing the trees, also very big bulldozer, the Japanese biggest one. Then suddenly he came and to the monastery trembling and said, no, please, I have to go back. I cannot do this work. I am unable to do it because there's some divinity was throwing stones at me and wanted to harm me. Now I cannot continue this work. So actually some rocks were falling down from the place where the trees were, big trees, and so he became very afraid. So he refused to do the work. So they had to find a different man to manipulate the machine. Then Pa Auk Sayadaw made some ceremonies first, and some pujas, and some the chanting and the ceremonies, and so after that they invited the different driver, and then okay. That first one, he just could not do it. Impossible. No one would. So people still have this kind of sensitivity. So the Arahat is someone who has cut off all ignorance, and greed and hate, which is a cause of our polluted mind. So having cut off the ignorance and the greed, he is not to be reborn again. The humans and the gods, they have the privilege of being able to practice deep self-awareness, which is the only way leading to awakening. So humans and gods can become awakened. But unless one becomes awakened, one will, as long as there is ignorance and greed, one will have to be reborn. And these gods, it is believed in Buddhism, they still have not overcome the ignorance, and so they are subjected to karma. So they enjoy a better way of better sphere of existence, better life, more pleasure, as long as their karma allows them. When their karma is exhausted and they die, they may be still born in a lower state. Unless they have reduced or removed the ignorance. What does it mean? The habits are governing us. These habits are very deep-rooted. And they decide the more or less what we're going to experience in the future. Unless we have done some very powerful action on the bad side, on the right, on the good side. So our future is governed by our habit. If one has done some powerful evil act like killing one's father or mother, or some powerful act on the good side like having habitually practiced the dhyana, which leads to the divine existence, then one will be reborn in accordance with one's habit. Okay. And there are among gods and humans also beings with bad habits. Bhante, could you please kindly talk about the nimitta? What is it? Why does it occur? Does its color mean anything? What about its images? How do we clarify it? Very nice. It will be our morning topic also. So let us finish here. So morning we will devote the time to this explanation.